It is Monday, April 7th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. We are starting off the weekend style. Super excited because, first of all, we want to thank you. A bunch of tips of the cap, but first of all, to all of our viewers out there who made last week's Baseball Today the most watched week we've ever had in a regular season. So thank you.
It's pretty awesome, Chris.
Yeah.
You and I continue to grow. You know I'm in a bad mood today, but then that little nugget right there just changed it.
Aww.
Turned my frown upside down. Look at this.
That's good. That's good. A few other things to take care of. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button that you like the video, you subscribe. Blitzball 6 is back. It debuted last night. We had Baggage and McFlurry Power. If you haven't seen the game, no spoilers here, but go back and watch it. Game 2 is coming your way Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern. Join us in the chat while you're watching maybe baseball on your big screen.
It's a classic matchup, Chris.
Yes, it is.
Rotten Ice, Jack Doyle throwing behind his back.
Oh, good stuff.
Me trying to take everybody deep. Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, please do. Please do. And finally, episode 3 of Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. Tarek Skubal of the Detroit Tigers was great. Another question with the Queen, and also the return of baby ball players. If you love that series that we did a few years ago, it has returned with the Atlanta Braves this week, so go check it out. All right, now let's dive in. I think it's a tip of the cap. I didn't know what to call this. It is the largest bunny in the history of the world checking out a Giants game over the weekend against the Mariners. What is that?
What do you feed that thing? Is that a hare?
I don't know what the difference is, but there's the dude with the biggest I called it a Balco bunny. That's what I called it.
I got to be honest with you. That looks like awesome. It looks very cuddly. I thought I was going to be out on this, but I'm in on it big time.
Yeah. It's like an extra soft pillow that you just want to hold on to forever. At first, I was like, ooh, God, scary. But now I'm in.
I think I know how rabbits poop. We used to have rabbits in our backyard. I had to put up like rabbit fencing. So they poop in like little pellets.
Mm-hmm.
What are those things will just roll everywhere. Like if they get pooped on a concrete floor, they're not going to like stay stationary. They like roll everywhere. So how do you even pick it all up? I don't know. That's the questions I have.
Well, all I could tell you is if you were at that stadium over the weekend and you had chocolate chip ice cream, just be careful.
I never understood Bark in the Park. Like I haven't been to a Bark in the Park like in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there poop everywhere?
You know what? People have got to answer that in the comments section because I think about it all the time, and I've never been to a Bark at the park either. Like I could never take my dog there; she would go crazy. So you know what?
Everywhere.
We need people to answer the questions for us.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it going. Oh, our fans north of the border, they're so happy. It's why I'm wearing a Blue Jays cap. Vlad is staying in Canada. I want to give credit to where credit is due. I know Hector Gomez has been all over this story for weeks. Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Passan, they all put it out there. If I missed anybody, I apologize. 14 years, $500 million for the 26-year-old who, of course, was in his walk year. No deferrals. So that means that after Juan Soto, his present-day value is now the second largest in baseball history. How shocked are you that they finally got this thing done?
I'm not really shocked, to be honest with you, because I've said this from the get-go. Whenever somebody says, hey, like, I'm only going to discuss this before the season starts, like, no, that's not true. Like, that's your way of saying, well, number one, it's leverage. Number two, it's like, let's talk about this behind the scenes. Let's not talk about this in front of the cameras. That's you telling the media, don't ask me about it, essentially. But those discussions are going to continue to happen. Clearly, they were going at it. And then that number was, for Vladdy, too much to pass up, dude. 14 years, 500, no deferrals. I believe 37.5 is the AAV. And for the Blue Jays, I mean, they've been trying to spend money for quite some time, Chris. And they brought guys in. I think they've done a good job of bringing, maybe not the A1 free agents in. They've missed on some of those guys, but they've signed a bunch of guys. And they've developed a team. They've traded for guys. And then Vladdy, obviously, they've been trying to get this done for quite some time. They finally hit him with the number that he wanted. And I think going back to, I guess, my thought process on the whole situation is, I mean, before last year, we were questioning Vladdy. We're saying, hey, the numbers, except for 2019, they were good, but maybe not $500 million good. He does it again last year. And then when you really take a look at his numbers, like all the underlying metrics have been great his entire career. His expected WOBA, his expected slug, like everything like that, even in his down years, was up. He's hitting the ball hard. He squares the ball up just as good as anybody in baseball. So if you're looking at those, which a lot of teams look at those kind of metrics, like he is, I guess I got to put a number on it now, a top 10 hitter in baseball. It seems like. So, at his age, that's what he's going to demand. 14 years, man. Puts him through age 41 season up there in Toronto. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the Blue Jays too. I think that they have a team in place, and I guess I'm just curious what this means going forward. Like, what are the next 2 years going to look like?
Right. Well, we'll get to that. So first of all, Dan put in the chat that Mike Rodriguez also a part of the fact-finding mission on this. The AAV, if I did the calculations right, I think is 35-7.
I mixed the numbers up. My bad.
That's okay, but still, you're in the neighborhood, just on the wrong block. I am shocked that it finally got done. If you remember in spring training, I said it's time to blow the shit up. I did. I really felt, and because I felt like they should have traded him before last trade deadline, because I was worried that he was just going to walk out the door. I didn't think that they were going to be able to get to this number. The Blue Jays in this situation remind me a little bit of the Dallas Cowboys. And just hear me out for a second. The Cowboys in the last few years have been famous for not paying their own players until it became too late, and then they had to go past where they were. Like, this number probably could have been 3-something, not 500 million, if they had gotten it done a couple years ago. The Dallas Cowboys, with 2 stars of their own, CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they kept adding tens of millions of dollars to the contract. I kind of feel like the Blue Jays did the same thing here, which is exactly why I didn't think it was going to get done.
So, yes, I mean, the longer you wait, the closer it gets to free agency, the more you're going to pay. But they are also making a pitch for Shohei the year prior, and then Juan Soto in this year's offseason, or last year's offseason. So I think that's probably a reason they didn't go full bore. I mean, I guess I'd give them that excuse where they were trying to save money to make sure they can go get those guys. Then when that didn't happen, they made sure they took care of Vlad. It's, again, yeah, I think it's interesting to see like where they go next. So, some of the pitching is going to be gone after this year. We know about Bo. Like, what's that mean? Probably means he's not going to be coming back. But what does that team look like in that division? That's, again, seems like it's always going to be pretty dang competitive.
Right. So it's Bo and Bassett are the big free agents after this year. After
Gausman has 1 or 2 years left.
After next year, it's Gausman and Springer. Those are 2 9-figure salaries. Gausman, you could argue, has at times pitched worth it, and Springer's contract, unfortunately, has not worked out for them. So now the question moving forward is, does it make sense for them? Yes, if it doesn't stop business. I have told you this. Whatever the Mets are spending on Juan Soto, it shouldn't matter, because I don't think Steve Cohen's going to be like, well, we spent $800 million on Juan Soto. We can't do this. To that, then I'm going to have a problem with the Juan Soto contract. Same thing here. As long as the Blue Jays put good players around Vladimir Guerrero Jr., because if they don't, you know what? They're still going to be winless in the playoffs with him, which is exactly what has happened. They have not had a playoff single-game victory since 2016, since before Vlad became a big leaguer. And it's not on Vlad, but just saying, build a better team around him.
Yeah, it's what's next, I think, is my biggest question for the Blue Jays.
Let me ask you this. In order for it to make sense, if the value still per WAR is right around 8 or 8.5 million, then he basically has to be a 4.5 WAR player per year in order for this contract to make sense financially. Is there any concern with you about that?
I don't think he's going to do that. Not playing the positions, first base and then DH. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that's really what this contract is about. I don't think they're matching up WAR and dollars. It's about keeping, a superstar there, giving their fans someone to root for, and then it's just face of the franchise type stuff. There's just no way that over 14 years he's going to average 4 WAR. Now, the question to you is right back at you: is 500 homers the only way he gets in the Hall of Fame?
No, I don't think so.
You think collective WAR he'll reach that point?
No, I think that if he puts together a few top 5, and it's gotta be a bunch. It's gotta be not a few. It's probably gotta be like 7 top 5 MVP finishes. I think. I think that's what it
It's
and
an interesting case. Looking at his numbers, like, is he gonna get there? It's interesting because he's obviously got to the big leagues young enough.
right?
180 career homers right now, or is it 160? Shoot.
Hold on. It is 180.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, 160. It's 180 doubles.
So 340 more
Yeah, he's got
in 15 years.
2 top 6 finishes, MVP finishes. He's also had 2 WAR seasons higher than 6, which is pretty damn good for a first baseman. And by the way, happiest man on the planet is Kyle Tucker.
Yes.
Congratulations. And we'll see what this means for Pete Alonso next year, right?
Pete's crushing it, dude. Oh my gosh, he's enjoying Juan Soto.
Okay. By the way, only one other first baseman has cracked the top 30 in AAV in their history. Who would that be?
In whose history? In Major League Baseball history?
In Major League Baseball's history.
Oh, Albert Pujols.
Well, maybe I missed him too. Miguel Cabrera.
I was gonna say Miggy was my other guess, but yeah, third baseman kind of too.
What was Pujols? He was
I don't know.
he was for a dozen years at 2 something.
I have
250,
no idea.
260, 240. Oh, so he didn't crack that. All right. Here's the last thing I'll say about Vlad that I love. Plays every damn day.
Yes, he does. Even this year, all 10 games.
Gets out there. All right, now let's move to on the field news. The San Francisco Giants off to a blazing 8-1 start after walk-offing their way to victory over Seattle on Sunday.
And a base hit. And here comes Matos. And this game is over.
You know, we have a little bit of a different way we're doing things, and we're having some success. It's a good vibe. We brought in some guys that are big clubhouse presence, and Willie Adames and Justin Verlander. We have some guys here that are signed here for a long time. Just feels like it's put together a little bit differently.
So those were the sounds of manager Bob Melvin before Sunday's game, but I thought it was kind of critical what he was saying. So big picture here, we know that we've kind of railed on San Francisco the last few off seasons because they haven't gotten that true big fish that they've been hunting, right? Should we give Buster Posey a little more credit for the way he's constructed this team?
Yeah, no, I think he's done a great job. Like, not everyone is going to get the big free agent. We talked about that during the offseason. They've done actually a really good job of signing guys there. And maybe, Aaron Judge, I think it was the big names, man. That's what got them. Aaron Judge being falsely reported, the Carlos Correa deal getting nixed because of a physical, like those things were big headlines, but like underneath all of that, they've brought in Matt Chapman, obviously Willie Adames. And I think the one thing that I'll give him, Buster Posey, that is big credit for, is what Bob just said. Bringing in guys that are good for the clubhouse. Willie Adames, having Justin Verlander around all your pitchers. Like, he understands, especially with that type of team that the Giants won with when Buster was there. That was all just like team camaraderie. Obviously, there were some special players on that team, including himself, but it really was about like a unit. Go talk to those guys. I talked to Sergio Romo about that a ton. Like, it was they loved playing together. So that's what they've kind of established here. I think you look at that roster and it's a bunch of veterans teaching the young guys. And again, like, Buster just brought in like a nice mixture. So he's brought in the veterans, but going and getting Jung-Hoo Lee. And then, when was Elliot Ramos signed? That probably wasn't a Buster Posey signing.
Well, that's the thing, is that Farhan does deserve some credit.
He put together some players there, but I do believe that Buster's kind of brought everyone together with the guys that he's brought in that leadership. So yeah, I think he does deserve a ton of credit, Chris.
Yeah, he does, in part because, remember, he was still part of the ownership group before he came on and now took over the role as team architect. And he was in a lot of those meetings to recruit certain big name guys. I mean, Logan Webb told us that on the Rose rotation that Buster played a huge role in the recruiting process. And in some cases it worked and in some cases it didn't. But it certainly sounded like the Matt Chapman extension was all Buster Posey's doing, right? I did find one other thing that Bob Melvin said, and we didn't air it in that soundbite, but I was doing a little more listening. And he said last year, the big names we brought in were in mid to late March. He said it makes it virtually impossible to get out of the gate fast if you're going to rely on those guys. And let's remember, Blake Snell came out. He was all over the place. He said he rushed himself. Then he ended up early on the injured list. And it took him basically 2 to 3 months to start looking like Blake Snell. That was not, the case with Justin Verlander, who was an early signing. Willie Adames, who was there for all of camp. That's big stuff. Last year through 9 games, they were 3-6. This year, they're 8-1. They're off to their best start since 2003. Do we think they can continue it? Yeah, we've both said that it wouldn't shock us if they finish third in that division and are vying for a wild card. It's awesome to see because that joint is great to play in. You played in it during the glory years, didn't you?
Yeah, it's great. No, it's an imposing place to go in and play.
It is.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
They've collected good talent over the years. They just swung and missed on a couple of huge name free agents.
Mm-hmm.
But even a guy like Jordan Hicks, who signed before last year and converted, I think there's some forward thinking there, mixed with a little bit of old school baseball.
He converted from reliever to starter, not religions, which he might have. We just don't know. That's possible. Shout out to their bullpen, which combined to pitch 15 1/3 innings in the 3-game sweep. ERA under 1.2 in that time. Pretty good. There were 2 other things I want to talk about in this series. One was the amount of fun that Willie Adames and Julio Rodriguez had. It started in the home opener. Adames steals the ball from Rodriguez on the line, and Julio fake throws his helmet at him. That was great. Then on Saturday, I believe Adames was trying to stretch a single into a double. He challenged the arm of the center fielder. It ended the inning, and it was hilarious to watch Julio do his thing, like get in his face. That was great, right?
He came in because he was still looking to challenge. Then Julio came right after and was like, "No, you don't run on me like that." Then Adames also took another hit away from Julio and ground ball up the middle, fired that thing over there. So yeah, I mean, that's to me is like some people won't like that, like the camaraderie, like they need to hate each other, all this. But number one, they're in different leagues. Number two, it's so fun. These guys are like we're talking high level baseball mixed with some fun. How can you hate this?
Well, go talk to a baseball player over the age of 60 and give me a straw poll on that one. Let me know how it goes. So that was the good fun side of the series. This was maybe our catch of the year candidate. It's Victor Robles. If you have to see it and hear it to believe it.
High fly ball down the right field line into that corner, and oh my, did he catch it? He did.
Yeah, he's going to end up on the injured list, it sounds like, with a shoulder. But the splatter, it sounded like somebody was taking a sledgehammer to a watermelon.
Well, there's a mic over there or something, but it's interesting, those nets, because it makes a player feel like, hey, I can just go throw my body into it, but there's nothing really supporting you, so you're going to have awkward falls into it. I got to imagine he dislocated the shoulder there. Did they come out and say?
They were still doing testing as of last night. I'm sure they'll announce.
It looked like something happened there, dislocated, maybe a clavicle or something like that. But if that wall's not there, first of all, he probably doesn't attempt that catch. Or if this net isn't there, I don't think he attempts that. But it actually might even be better that it wasn't there, because he would just be able to kind of like tuck and roll. Instead, he gets like stopped in an awkward position. That was nasty, dude. And like him rolling the ball in is what got me.
Yeah, that was it. Mike Yastrzemski, who obviously plays a lot out there, said, don't do that. And he goes, there's a brick wall out there you've got to be careful with, the whole bit. He goes, it's a tricky area. So we sent him our best. He's been, we've talked a lot about the Jerry DiPoto trades where he's tried to work on, like Victor Robles has been a godsend for them ever since they picked him up last year. He's done it all. He's played great defense, great offense. He obviously can run. He really seemed to be hitting his stride in his career. I hope this doesn't take him back.
I think he'll be okay. Here's my plea to the league: make the nets more taut, like that.
Yes.
You shouldn't be able to like fall into it. It should bounce you off, or I don't know.
You know what? He should have ended up in center field.
Just boom, boom,
should have
little
tightened
rebound.
it. Yeah, they should have tightened it to the point where the ricochet would have sent him all the way out to J-Rod. And then J-Rod could have thrown him in and gotten Willy Adames out at third.
Can you imagine just dislocated shoulder trying to like...
That's brutal. That was rough. Today's episode of Baseball Today, it is sponsored by MLB 9 Innings, a Major League Baseball game you can actually play in the palm of your hands. MLB 9 Innings has a wide variety of game modes, from league mode, where users can play through a season, to live player versus player. 9 Innings has over 2,000 player cards to collect and use in your dream roster. MLB 9 Innings has the most up-to-date rosters, team logos, ballparks, and uniforms. 9 Innings has also added a new historic group of players to the game, like Joe DiMaggio, Kirby Puckett, Satchel Paige, Derek Jeter, and even one of the newest Hall of Famers, Adrian Beltre. You may have seen it, but MLB 9 Innings has released an incredible trailer this year as well. Mike Trout, Ken Griffey Jr., and even Greg Maddux are in it. Check out the trailer on MLB 9 Innings official YouTube channel. So download and play MLB 9 Innings 25 today. Click the link in the description and enjoy. Well, so far, the 2023 World Series champion Texas Rangers and their fans are enjoying the year. They have the best record in the AL after busting out the brooms against Tampa Bay.
And Heim shoots it out to center. That's down, base hit. Here comes Smith. He'll score! And the Rangers have won it in the bottom of the ninth inning.
What were there, like 5 walk-offs on Sunday or something?
A lot of walk-offs.
Oh, that makes it fun. And also make it 5 straight. Lots of people love the Rangers coming into this year. ERA is currently the best in the American League. Are you officially on board after a week and a half?
Are you talking about the Rangers or the pitching staff?
The Rangers.
Because those are two different things for me. I've been in on the Rangers. I think I had them winning. No, I had them wild card.
I think we both had wild card.
Yeah, it's Seattle winning the division. They get swept, and now they're in last place. But I had the Rangers making the wild card, mainly because I thought offensively this team had the biggest upside from where they were last year. I thought they could have a huge bounce back, and that really hasn't been the case. I think they're hitting 192 collectively as a team. It's bad.
Yes, I believe it's actually I think they're 190, and somehow they've won 8 of their first 10.
610 OPS from them. And the pitching's been great. And I think that is, so I guess, am I in on the Rangers fully? I think the bats will come around. I think some of the starting pitching may not be there all season long, but like, as long as you're playing that dance, Chris, where like you're getting wins because of your pitching, and then the offense comes around, maybe you get some wins because of your offense, and then every once in a while you just get a little bit of that, and you run off those streaks. Like, they have the roster to get done. I've always loved Nathan Eovaldi. He's been great. Jack Leiter obviously has made some significant adjustments and is throwing the shit out of the ball right now. So you have to love that. DeGrom, he got touched a couple times. B. Lau and Jonathan Aranda, hit some homers off him, but he looks really good. So I'm buying the starting pitching. The bullpen's always going to be a little bit shaky, but that hasn't mattered in years past for them, obviously. So I've been in on them, Chris. I'm in.
So meaning, yes, I think they're a really dependable wild card team at worst. The starting pitching is still, I've got to see it for several months where guys have to make it through. I mean, Jack Leiter already ended up on the injured list with a blister, and you've played with guys who have dealt with that. That can be a nightmare.
Yeah, he just has to take care of it.
Yeah, but
those will go away. That's not going to affect his performance if he takes care of it.
Some guys, though, they do have to deal with it, and it's a year-long problem. It just keeps not to be
punny. They're getting so much better at taking care of those things, though.
I get it. Eovaldi is the one that you can chalk up and say, this is what we're getting out of him. DeGrom, we're all praying that we get a full season, and we want to see what it's like. Kumar has been okay. He's thrown some gems. He's thrown some stinkers, and that's what happens when you're young in your career, right? Patrick Corbin, I think, is coming back in their rotation because of Leiter. Not back in the rotation, but he'll make his Rangers debut, so he's part of it. Molly is back. He's a guy who's been on the shelf, it felt like, for the last 2 years. but has had some really good moments in his career. And you mentioned the bullpen. Do you know who their closer is?
Chris Martin,
Luke Jackson.
Luke Jackson.
He's got 5 saves, but an ERA, I think it's over 5. And he's a dude. Like, he had a great year for the Braves when they won it all in 21, but
That's everybody in their pen, though.
I know, and that I've never liked that, though. I'm going to
There's only a few teams that you like offense.
You're right.
Defense, starting pitching, bullpen.
Okay, so the offense, even though they're under 200 right now, love it. I think they're going to be just fine. I don't think Simeon and Seager are going to end up where they are right now. Rotation, I've got question marks, and bullpen, I've got question marks. So in 2 of the 3 areas, I just want Chris Young to upgrade, certainly in the bullpen. And then we'll see how the rotation plays itself out.
It's probably the easiest place to upgrade during the season.
I'll tell you who they should trade for.
Manuel Clase.
Bring him back.
I knew you were going to say that.
Bring him back. But that does make sense.
Does it make sense, you said?
I think so.
It makes sense for every team. His contract situation's awesome.
And I said it in the offseason that the Guardian, I just want to get this out here again on the record, that the Guardians should have traded him in the offseason. Because his level.
Everyone traded. Vlad, he traded. Clase traded.
I know.
Royce Lewis while we're at it.
Last thing about the Rangers, 5-0 in 1-run games. That's always important. All right. Phillies hand the Dodgers their first 2 losses of the season. Luzardo was great on Friday for the Phils. Roki, solid on Saturday. More on him in just a second. Sunday was a crazy back-and-forth game in the rain. Glasnow looked fine the first 2 innings, then couldn't get it out in the third and was all over the place. And Castellanos hits a grand slam, and the Dodgers come back, and the Phillies hang on for an 8-7 win. What was your biggest takeaway for Philly?
I think they just match up really, really well against the Dodgers. Like, they have the bullpen that can kind of neutralize the Dodgers. I just talked about this a bunch with Jake, and we're going over this series. I thought it was manager versus manager too. There was like a lot of moves with the bullpen and lanes, and I think both these teams kind of operate that way. We saw Jordan Romano close out a game. We saw him coming in like the 5th. Like, Trinan was in there early. I like the matchup between these 2 teams. But Philly they can kind of like do a little bit of everything. And that's how we talk about them, like the complete roster. I love the way the game ended on Friday with JT Realmuto throwing out Shohei. And then Chris Taylor at the end of the game for a strike him out, throw him out. I don't know. It's I feel like it's good baseball every time we watch these teams. And if you really look at the numbers, though, the Phillies have had the Dodgers number.
8 of 10.
Yeah, so it's good baseball, Chris.
It is. And that's the thing, is that I think a lot of teams look at the Dodgers, and I've heard a few in the early season go, God dang, are they stacked?
Phillies do not say that.
They will not say that.
No.
They just won't. Now, there's other teams that I think also do match up with the Dodgers pretty well, but I think the Phillies believe it. And I think that their starting rotation, no matter what 4 or 5, the 4 that the Dodgers are going to run out there in October, I think Philly, as long as it's Wheeler and Nola at the top, and Nola was a little inconsistent on Saturday, but like Christopher Sanchez, you start him in a home game, great. We haven't seen Ranger Suarez yet, but Luzardo, if they can get the Luzardo from a few years ago, like that's a bunch of guys that you can say, all right, we're in good shape there.
You ever heard? I'm sure you've heard this. And was it Millar? I think Millar said this all the time. They drive nice cars too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I've heard that from a lot of major.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's a common baseball slang, like our term right there. Like, hey, like everybody's a big leaguer. They drive nice cars. The thing is, I think the Dodgers drive nicer cars than anybody, except the Phillies. Like the reason they don't fear the Dodgers is because that entire lineup and rotation is full of dudes that have just like been there, done that. They're all making crazy money too. They have crazy contracts. So they don't feel like they're not looking up at the Dodgers.
No, they don't have, when Kershaw comes back on the roster, they don't have 4 former MVPs on their team. They've got 1, right? But they have guys that have won.
These are just as a unit, they're the most confident unit there is. I mean, they like the confidence levels match between the Dodgers and the Phillies, and you can't say that for every team. A lot of other teams have young guys that are like, oh shit, like the Dodgers are coming to town. The Phillies do not care who they play.
Mm-hmm. I will say Philadelphia's got to figure out what's going on with Romano, like when they can pitch him. It's
interesting.
Yeah.
Got to settle in sometimes to a season, new club, all these things matter. Throwing to different catchers matters. All this stuff that's happening early on in the season, we just have to give it a little more time before we can really get a fair assessment.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It felt rickety at times in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
They let him go. And, Philly's not exactly the most comforting place when you're trying to figure it out on the fly a little bit. Which takes us to our next subject. Roki Sasaki pitched his best game in his 3 starts so far on Saturday. 4 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 4 Ks, 2 walks. We saw him fired up after the bullpen came in and did its job. Some of the stuff he was throwing out there was
that's filthy, Chris. What are you supposed to do with that?
You tell me. You're the major leaguer.
I used to like splitters, okay? I'm being honest with you. Like I would like, you can see the spin out of the hand because there's, it's less spin, so you can kind of see that. You can see like the seams more when the ball's not rotating as much. It's very difficult to put your barrel on it because it's not a pitch that moves the same all the time. As you just saw Roki's, it's going one way, it's going the other way. But his is a little different. There's a ton of vertical drop on that. Other guys, the ones that I liked, I would almost treat him like a sinker, where like, there was a handful of drop, but his is just, look at this. What are you supposed to do with that? That one's like a right-handed slider.
Mm-hmm.
The one he threw to Schwarber at the end is going the other way. Look at that one. He's got the stuff, Chris.
But we know that. The bigger topic is that we discussed this on Friday's show. And we had a long discussion about him coming off that first start at Dodger Stadium where he was taken out after fewer than 2 innings and he looked really despondent on the bench. Some people thought he was tearing up. And we said, oh, my God, his next start is in Philly. What's going to happen? And then we go, God, we both want to see him struggle and see how the fans react. So I go through the comments a lot. There was a lot of negative reaction here. And I think people have to hear us out. So I went back and rewatched the segment. I don't always do that, but I did in this particular case to make sure that I got the point across that I wanted to, and you did the same. And I felt that we kind of butchered it. Not that we did the topic. I think the way we presented it came off as unfair. If I had to do it again, and you can respond after this, I would have said, hey, he's going a low place into a pressure cooker. There are maybe number 1 in terms of enemy, the way they treat the enemy. And I should have said that I want to see him getting some jams, and I want to see if he can get out of it. Instead of, man, I want to see him get crushed. And it did. It came off as asshole-ish. And for that, I was wrong. When you fly as many live-ish hours, because we're not actors here, we're giving our opinions. Sometimes you say stuff that you think comes out of your mouth okay, and you go back and you look at it, and you're like, asshole. And those are one of those times. That's the way I felt. It's not because of what you guys said. What you guys wrote in the comments allowed me to go back and look at it again so that I could then say, okay, well, I'm okay with how I said it. And I wasn't.
I don't think I'm apologizing. I don't know. I mean, what I said was more geared towards Philly and what they do. Like they make people feel uncomfortable going in. And clearly this guy hadn't felt comfortable in his first couple of starts. Right. It was almost like Philly kind of like do your thing. It had nothing really to do with Roki Sasaki. I'm rooting for this guy. I picked him in the Cy Young draft in our Talking Baseball draft episode. Like clearly he's going to be good, but this is just a baseball scenario. I don't know, man. I'm not rooting. I don't root against any player. You know that.
Very rarely do we do that.
There's a couple guys who deserve it, and when I root against a player, know that they deserve it. Okay, I am rooting for everybody. I don't hate your team. I want good baseball. I want nobody hurt. This was just more geared towards Philly, and I was curious to see what they would do. And Roki had a great start. I mean, not a great start, his best start.
Yeah, solid.
I expect way more out of this guy. He's gonna be fine, but I don't know, man. Like I know where you're coming from, but like you said, dude, we have a lot of we do this 5 times a week. Like we're gonna say some stuff that gets misconstrued, or maybe it comes off bad, but
that's what I'm saying.
I stand by what I say.
I'm not standing by what I said because I agree with you. If Roki's next start after that first flame out in Chavez Ravine had been in Chicago, or had been in Kansas City, or had been in Houston or Miami, we wouldn't even have talked about it most likely.
Yes.
The whole point was he's going into Philadelphia. Uh-oh.
After like a crying meme. That's what the whole
Right.
thing was. And I even came out and said, I don't think he was crying. Has it been confirmed that he was crying? I still don't think he
hasn't been.
was.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a tear duct guy. I don't know.
I feel like they're experts for everything, Chris.
I did go back and listen to it. I listened to it twice just to make sure. Like, am I being overly sensitive?
Was I bad?
It's not a question of bad. I mean, whatever we say, you have to own it. And so if you're comfortable with what you said, I'm not sitting here judging you. And I wish I had phrased it differently instead of the way I did, because it came off as a little dickish.
Pretty much every single comment section, every show, if we talk about the Dodgers, there'll be one person that says I'm a Dodgers glazer.
Yes.
And one person that says I'm a Dodger hater. So I feel like I'm living perfect.
Yeah, and by the way, people are going to have the same reaction to this. Oh, you pussy! Why are you backtracking on what you said? And then people are going to be like, "Well, you said it, so I'm going to hold it against you." And those are your choices. I'm not here to tell you. Just like I have choices about what I say, you have choices about how you feel. Great, go for it. But I just wanted to get that out there.
You know what?
Plouffe just bad. Guys, look at the comment. Look at the comment.
I know. If people want to get their frustration out, bring it on to me. I'm okay with it. We're going to make the world a better place by you getting your frustration out. I'll take it.
Hey, hold on. Dan Rourke, you should get a raise based on that graphic alone. Are Rose and Plouffe just bad guys? You are loving this segment. I wish I could see you right now. You are smiling ear to ear. And
Yankees been teeing off on.
Don't laugh at him, intern Sawyer. You're just going to feed the animals. That's funny, though, Dan.
It's the Yankees hitting. They've been teeing off on subpar pitching.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Is that funny? So there you go. Plouffe doesn't take it back. All right, let's talk about comfort where it matters most. Your underwear. Skims, the official underwear partner of the NBA, WNBA, and USA Basketball, and the brand known for revolutionizing shapewear, has now launched a line of men's underwear that's about to change your daily routine. Skims offers 3 distinct fabric blends, each designed with your needs in mind. Their cotton blend provides lasting comfort for everyday wear, while the stretch fabric gives you that perfect fit that moves with you. And for you fitness enthusiasts, the sports fabric wicks away sweat and offers light compression for your workouts. So shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know that we sent you. That is Baseball Today. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey. Select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. Enjoy. You'll be feeling great. I promise you. I love those Skims. I got to tell you, brother.
I'm wearing them right now, Chris.
Oh, yeah. It's a good feeling. Good feeling. All right. Mets sweep Toronto. Bullpen did a great job on Sunday. 4 1/3 scoreless, 1 hit allowed, 2-1 the final. New York improves to 6-3 overall. Meanwhile, Rafael Devers, that slump is gone. Started the year 0 for 21, 10 for his last 17. Hit a homer in Game 1 against the Cards. Added 4 more hits in the nightcap. That's a doubleheader and a weekend series sweep against St. Louis. Which New York or Boston more interesting to keep your eye on this year?
I love Boston. I have them in the World Series. So I don't necessarily want to talk about them because I feel like I've talked about them a ton. I am interested in the Mets, and I did do this on Talking Baseball. So if you listen to both shows, I might repeat myself a little bit here. But really, the Mets, it's been their pitching and not just their bullpen. The bullpen's been great. 35 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 1.28 ERA. They've been great. But the starting pitching, now this is the second year in a row we've come in and just said, what do they got? Like, are we really going to go through this again? And I don't know who it is. If it's Hefner, who came over from the Twins, by the way, if it's him or whatever, but like all these guys, Peterson, McGill, Canning, Holmes, have all like changed their pitch mix up this year and have had incredible results to start the year. Peterson's throwing the changeup more. McGill's ditched his cutter, throwing the slider and the sinker up. Canning's throwing the slider way more. Holmes developed the kick change. Now he's throwing 5 different pitches, obviously from converting from a reliever to a starter. So they've made tangible adjustments. And so I'm more interested in seeing where that goes throughout the season, if that all holds up. If we're going to see another year where we're like, wait, who are the Mets starting pitchers and where do they rank in the big leagues? That's what I'm more interested in watching. I think the Red Sox are going to be there. They have one of my favorite collections of talent in all the league. Go check out what Wilyer Abreu is doing. But me watching the Mets starting pitching is going to be something that's going to happen all year long.
I think it's Boston. I predicted the Yanks to win the AL East, but I love it that I think it's going to be a close division. And those teams will play all the way to the end. And is there a more perfect addition to a team than Alex Bregman to Boston? I don't think so. Right? I think he went 4 of 6 last night in the ESPN Sunday night game. He's tied with Kyle Tucker for the most hits in baseball. He's got 15, 7 of which have gone for extra bases. We said it, that with that swing, he's just going to keep peppering that wall out there or go over it in some cases. Yeah.
I want to see this.
Oh,
God. For our podcast listeners, they showed a umpire cam of Bregman's homer to center. That was nice.
Yeah, it was great.
More of that.
Yeah. They're just a really good team. That Christian Campbell, they're going to look back on that deal that they just gave him last week and be like, oh, boy, we take that kid.
I want to be known as the guy that was on the Red Sox first. I feel like I've been talking about them for so long. It is there, people. I think we're going to see a crazy month from the Red Sox at some point this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really good. God dang, are they good. Good for him. Oh, and I think Rafael Devers is just fine.
He's fine.
All right, we'll finish with this. It is a little bit Red Soxy, but why not? Red Sox have a new celebratory home run thing with the Wally head. Do you dig it or are you passing on it?
You know, when was it when everyone started doing their own home run celebrations? It was like a thing we were talking about. Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, well, you hated them.
I still hate everything, dude. Like, it's so, I'll tell you why I hate it. Every game, every homer, or every big moment. Like, I don't know. That's just a lot. It's too much. Like, if it's like out of nowhere, spur of the moment, like natural, like I'm in, I don't know. Okay, it's funny. It's funny.
It is funny.
But when it's like 100 degrees and humid in Boston in the summertime, and like, what if they're going through a bad week and Devers hits a homer? They're going to put that thing on? I don't know, man.
Well, we could ask somebody on the team. Is there? Yeah, because every team, no matter how great your season is, you're going to have a 4-game losing streak.
I feel like we've kind of gotten away from everybody homer celebration where it was like you had to have something right away. For the Twins, it was like the homer vest, and they had like a Prince guitar. Then like the pizza, it was
the trident for the Mariners.
I know I sound like a
firefighter helmet on that they give.
I sound like an old POS, but like, I don't know. It's just it's a lot.
Yeah, let us know. Once again, comments while you're there.
Whatever happened to this one? Oh, high five. Huh?
The old high five?
The old high five.
Baker high five. Let's go get him.
Shout out who came? Joe Morgan?
I think Dusty Baker.
Dusty Baker, that's who it was.
Yeah, Dusty Baker.
Shout out.
Dusty left an imprint on this
I don't
game.
even know that's true.
What, the high five? That he came up with the high five?
Like, you don't think some Roman gladiators were high-fiving each other back in the day?
You mean before they got their heads chopped off?
Yeah, hey, you survived the lions.
And then the next guy turns around and that's it, it's over. And he still has the hand up. 'Cause
What
the
did I
hand still
invent?
works.
What did I invent? I think I invented the hat and the pencil, or the pencil in the hat.
Yeah, not quite.
Because no, people wear them like this.
Oh, so you
Um,
actually put it inside the hat.
It's way more secure. People who mock it, try it.
So you've got the eraser down and the pointy, sharp tip next to your head? Oh,
It's a
what
pen.
is that?
It's a pen. It's actually an erasable pen. Corey Provis put me on these things. No free ads, but they're called the Pilot Frictions. That's the best pen I've ever had in my life.
So it's not even a pencil. You're trying to fraud us.
Oh, well, sometimes it's a pencil.
Okay, so when you go pencil, do you go pointy end into the hat?
Yes.
You better.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to knock your head, and then you're going to get that little lead piece indented in your head, and you're going to have an issue with lead poisoning of the brain.
I eat a lot of tuna anyway. Is that mercury? That's mercury. I don't know.
Mercury. Yeah. All right. This was a fun one. Always is. We are back at it again on Tuesday. Enjoy your baseball out there. Keep leaving your comments. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. Go watch Dugout Discussions. Watch Blitzball on Tuesday. Just make John Boy Media part of your content family if you haven't already. So for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We'll see you Tuesday here on Baseball Today.